Build smart, move fast, get the edge at last. This is the Catalyst.
You are listening to The Catalyst, the podcast by the Long Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Small Business Resiliency Series, brought to you by Don Temple Storage, Wells Fargo, Dignity Health St. Mary's Medical Center, Hyatt Regency Hotel, Intertrend, and Crown Castle. And now, onto The Catalyst.
And welcome to The Catalyst, the podcast by the Long Beach Area Chamber of Commerce. My name's Stuart Takehara. Good to be here. This is another, and I think the final episode of the Small Business Resiliency Series. We've been talking to small business owners all throughout Long Beach about their experience, their time, how they're adapting to the current business climate. And I'm really excited to have our final guest of this series, Joseph Michael Gray from HOTWORX. Joseph, welcome to The Catalyst.
It's a pleasure to be here at The Catalyst and be a part of the resiliency right here in the small businesses. It's honestly an honor.
Yeah. Well, let's before we get into this, people are probably going, what is HOTWORX?
Right.
So
Right. So essentially we are a 24-hour operating infrared fitness studio where, as I mentioned just before, we're open 24/7, 365. Our basis of training is inside of a 7x9, 63 square foot sauna made out of Canadian hemlock wood. So that way all of our clients are getting a natural detox through and through infrared therapy. So we're combining three dimensions of training, right? You have heat, you have infrared, and you have traditional exercise, which is executed in our functional training zone that's in the back end of the studio. So just giving the community more workout, less time, and accessibility and autonomy to train at their will.
And I know I've been a guest of yours a couple of times, and I want to thank you for that.
Of course.
It's amazing that you really feel, when you go back to a traditional gym, you really feel like you're missing something. Like the few times that I was telling you, I went over there, I did the spinning thing once, and it was at like
Right.
15-minute, 125 degree, kind of a thing. And then I like to row. So there was a rowing machine. But going back over here to the normal gyms, sometimes you go like, wow, I feel like I'm not getting as good of a workout as I did over at HOTWORX.
Right. And that's mainly because of what the temperature does for you, right? And when we look at the basis of infrared, it's truly boosting metabolic factors, is keeping that internal temperature up so that way you're burning calories outside of actually training. So while you're in there, your body's overcoming the elements. So we're pushing all the way through, and then once we're done, we're still burning calories due to elevated post-exercise oxygen consumption. That's a mouthful. We just call it afterburn over here at HOTWORX. So we're definitely granting the community an accelerated, streamlined way to reach those fitness goals. We're all busy people, right? We're all running small businesses, and we have to get back to real life. So those 15-minute workouts truly do set the tone for me, so that way I can facilitate the needs of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know a little bit about HOTWORX. We know what you do, but let's get into the business of your business.
Yeah.
Because you opened up a location in San Pedro, and you're in the process, or it's already open, but you're in the building process of your Long Beach location, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you opens up San Pedro, you go, wow, this is great concept. Our members love us. Let's open up another one. Okay. So you could have gone anywhere. San Pedro, you could have gone up to Carson, gone up to Torrance,
Right.
north on the 405, or you could have come down to Long Beach. What made you choose Long Beach?
Well, the ownership group, they had a couple of options on the table, and I'm blessed enough to have some input in there, right? I was leaning towards Culver City. I know the density of that city is amazing. I grew up in West Los Angeles, so that's kind of where my mind took me. And they kind of had to reel me back in, like, hey, let's factor in a few things. Let's factor in demographic. Let's factor in density, right? Let's factor in rent. Let's factor in an affluent nature of the community, right? Let's factor in transiency. Like let's see how often, or what's the lifespan of someone being in this area. So Culver City immediately crossed itself off. I think there were a couple of opportunities moving up north that kind of fell through. Buellton, which is way up the 101, that necessarily didn't check out. But what truly brought us to Long Beach was a couple of the immediate factors of the density and the community, the long-standing community. There are people here in, Signal Hill, Bixby, Seal Beach, Los Al. They haven't gone anywhere. They love their community. They want businesses that can actually contribute something to the community, whether that's wellness, whether that's food or a service, if you will. And that was the biggest draw of the community feel of Long Beach. Yes, it's spread out compared to San Pedro, where everything kind of spreads like wildfire, and it's word of mouth, and though that guerrilla marketing efforts can go a long way versus in Long Beach where you have this wide span population and we can fly under the radar. So now it's up for us to get our name out in front of the community. And I think the community has been super receptive once they come through the doors and understanding what we are. One of the biggest things, man. They see the sign. Is it HOTWORX or is it? Or is it Chinese food? Like what? Like is there a wok in the back? Like what's going on? They think we're a fried chicken joint. So just brand awareness is everything, and we love the potential that Long Beach has to offer with its surrounding cities and communities.
Okay, so you're going through this analytical data of everywhere, it sounds like, in Southern California, all the way up to the 101, Culver City, West LA, Long Beach, and you start going through the analytics, and you go, okay, not a good match, not a good fit here, this. So you go, it's got to be Long Beach.
Got to be Long Beach. Got to be Long Beach.
It's got to be Long Beach.
Absolutely.
But then how did you guys go about deciding what part of Long Beach? Because you mentioned we're full of different neighborhoods and they're all unique. So how did you guys decide to choose where you chose?
The transients right here in Long Beach, I think we're on the border of Los Al. Forgive me, we're bordering Signal Hill as well. But if I'm not mistaken, it should be considered, and help me out, Stuart, it should be considered East Long Beach, right?
You're kind of, well, let's give the cross streets. What are the cross streets so people know?
Right. We're on Spring and Los Coyotes. So okay. We're probably about 5-10 minutes from the traffic circle. You just speed south down Los Coyotes, you'll run into the traffic circle. You run north on Los Coyotes, you run into us. So I think the density and the population really drove us because we operate in about a 3-mile radius in terms of protected zones. But with that being said, we can expand a little further. Seal Beach is right there. Bixby's right there. As I mentioned, Los Al is right there. And when we look at the typical resident, they're homeowners. They've been here for a while. And whether that population ranges from 18 to 70, it still gives us an opportunity to connect because, if you're an uncle, grandparent, you still have referral options. If we're coming across your mailing list, your social media feeds, like, hey, we want to try this place out. It just gives us a wider reach to connect with the community versus moving towards, I think Seal Beach was an option as well. Moving closer down there was a lot with the hot yoga 8 or something along those lines. And we were really looking at that area. It was closer to the water, but the water factored in the territory and the density of our reach. So we can't get any guppies inside of the studio. So why go over there? So we moved north a little bit. We did want to be by the water at first. Mm-hmm. So if I had to just pinpoint something, it's the available range of the community that we can connect with, because we have tons of events that are 100% community driven. We don't charge tickets. We just want people to come and enjoy, have a good time over at HOTWORX.
Yeah, because you're really close to the freeway off the 405.
Right.
Like, because I come in from like East Long Beach from the Seal Beach side, and it's only 10 minutes, right? You just hop on the freeway and you're there. It's really close off the freeway. And then I was heading somewhere else, and I just took the Coyotes all the way down to the traffic circle, and I was there in like no time. So,
right, no time. Blink of an eye. Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me about the build process. You were there for the build in San Pedro. You were here for the build in Long Beach. How did that go? You guys obviously said we think it's going to take X number of months or X number of years.
Right.
Were you pretty much accurate on that, or were you able to get it done sooner, or did it take longer for you?
This time around, it took a little bit longer. I think it was a matter of internal conflict, more or less. The contracting had some give or take some pull there. We had to kind of put our foot on the gas on that one. When it comes to as a corporation or as an independent franchise, a lot of that build out is designated to us. Yeah. We don't get much support from corporate on that one, which I completely understand, right? So once we kind of figured out some of our pain points with the contracting, we were able to expedite some of the build out. But when it comes to build out and building acquisition, I think a lot of things went smooth. The property manager, Justin, I believe his name is, he comes by from time to time and checks out the location, have a good conversation with them, and just carry on about routine business. But the build out was definitely challenging this time around. I don't think we had any problems with the city. Mm-hmm. Nothing with the city came up, if my memory serves me correct, versus when we were in San Pedro. There were a couple of hurdles there. So there's a lot of, that Venn diagram, right? There's the pros.
Right.
When I look at it, everything balances itself out. Long Beach was great from a city aspect. It was more so internal this time around, whereas in San Pedro, the contracting was pretty dang good. And when it came time for our 24-hour occupancy, we got some pushback, had to figure out some things, had to come out of pocket a fair amount, but all things considered, business is business. We were able to get that one up and running, and now we have the one behind the sales over here in Long Beach.
Well, that was going to be one of the other questions is, we don't, Long Beach isn't exactly known for its 24-hour a day operations,
Right.
and so was that an issue? Because, you're all automated, you're all, app driven
Right.
for access and stuff, but that didn't seem to be an issue here in Long Beach.
No, I think primarily because of the visibility of the storefront. When you all get to stop by, if you're listening right now, you can see directly through the studio all the way to the back of the studio. And that's one of the biggest things that came up in San Pedro. They necessarily don't want any funny business going on. They want to make sure that everything is secure. They want to have visibility for first responders, law enforcement, which we totally understand, completely support our men and women in blue. So with that being said, the storefront checked out, clear visibility all the way through. We even have an EMS help desk where you can speak directly to emergency medical services as well as life alerts in case you have any underlying health issues, if that's something on one of our clients' radar. So we're checking boxes as we go. So that way we have little to no pushback from the city. We want to make sure that we comply 100%.
Yeah. So as we're recording this now in early June, you're building up your member base. And once you get to 500 members, right, then you can have your big grand opening.
Yeah.
You're over halfway there already. So I kind of want to talk about how you got these first 300 members. What did you do? Anything creative as far as marketing, or did the franchisee say, here's what you do, here's the playbook to get to your first, and you just kind of copy and pasted that? Or how did you come across marketing in this unique Long Beach environment?
Yeah. So, get a little creative, get down and busy for guerrilla marketing. You try to respect solicitation signs as much as possible, right? We want to lean into definitions on that part. We're not asking for any money. We just want to pass this along to you. But a lot of flyering up at the university, a lot of open houses was very successful throughout the period of the build out. We would run the open house every Saturday from about 9 a.m. until about 4 p.m. Passerbyers, they're seeing the construction. You're seeing the progress week to week. A lot of social media posting in light of the build out progress. We call it paint the town orange. We definitely want to just circumvent any external businesses that can conflict with us and create a legitimate differentiator. We don't necessarily want to fit inside of a boat with someone because we understand certain business models are fantastic. We like to think that we provide everything all in one. So if we can just completely differentiate ourselves and flyer as much as possible, that's essentially what we lean into. There's nothing outside of traditional boots on the ground right now. It's a lot of hard work. Nothing about opening a business is easy. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners can relate to that. So it's a matter of staying grounded, listening to our corporate coaches and kind of pivoting as we see necessary. A lot of phone calls, but more or less creating, like, as I mentioned, right, creating that differentiator, creating that visibility in terms of our business model, as well as just being out in the community, honestly.
So you mentioned marketing to students a lot. Are you talking about LBCC or CSULB or both?
Yeah, Cal State Long Beach for sure. For sure. We have a couple of social media partners that we partner with one of the sororities. So looking to find ways to align our product with people, individuals that we believe are like-minded and who will want to actually be here. We understand that, hot training isn't for everybody. So for the people that do want to be here, we want to just make sure we connect with them.
There's been a lot of businesses that have successfully launched from college campuses, because of their student base. I mean, the amount of students at Cal State Long Beach is larger than some cities,
right,
in this country.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely a great way to go. There's been other chamber members that have also done a lot of opportunities to market to students, both at their homecomings and, opening, when they go back to, I forgot what they call it, when they go back to school night or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember. at
you know.
this point. Right.
But, and I want to take this moment too to say, don't go and just start flyering in cars on the campus parking lot. There's a way to be able to do it. There's a system. And Chris Reese, who's the vice president of university relations, oversees a lot of that on campus. And he's also the chair of our board this year. So we don't want to piss him
Wow.
off.
Right. Definitely don't want to tee him up, right? Absolutely. Don't want to tee him up. Not at all.
I don't need Chris showing up to my door and it's like, hey, we need to talk about your podcast.
Right. Absolutely. So,
but there are great ways to be able to market to that demographic. And if that's an area that you're looking for, the school, the Long Beach CSULB, they want to help you. They want to create opportunities for businesses to get involved with their students. You just got to do it the right way. Sounds like you guys did that. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We reached out to a couple of the event coordinators, tried to figure that one out. When it came time to actually pass out flyers, we definitely didn't lean into campus. It was kind of like that surrounding city aspect. If cars are parked on the street, we didn't get the opportunity to pop up on campus as we kind of wanted to. But in the future, that's something that we're definitely looking forward to doing.
But it's interesting that you found a workaround. You said, I need college students, but let's use influencers. Let's work with the fraternities. Let's work with the sororities. Let's do it the right way. Let's create partnership.
Absolutely. We definitely don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want anybody mad at us right now.
And that's part of that creativity. People think, oh, I need to do this. And then it says, oh, you got to jump through these 3, 4, 5 hoops. And people just go, that's too much, but it's there for a reason. Because you got to protect the people on campus. But if you're not willing to put a little bit of work into promoting and marketing your business, well, then you're not going to have a business for very long.
Not very long at all. It takes a lot of effort. And I love the process. You got to fall in love with the process first. And I'm sure a lot of business owners definitely understand that aspect as well.
Yeah. So curious as to now I'm looking at San Pedro versus Long Beach. You got 2 of these stores. How long has the San Pedro location been open?
We've been open for 2.5 years. We're going on 3 years very soon since we launched our pre-sale November 18th of 2023. So that being a 3-year anniversary of launching pre-sale is amazing. We've been 2 years operating. I look at it as an amazing journey, just leaning into the ups, leaning into the downs, staying present, not necessarily getting too high, not getting too low, understanding the controllables of every scenario, and providing amazing customer service. If you guys check out our reviews over in San Pedro, you'll be able to see that for yourself. We understand that the client is first, and without the client, we wouldn't have a brick and mortar. We wouldn't have a business to begin with. So that's been amazing. Yeah.
Are you seeing price sensitivity between Long Beach and San Pedro? Are they talking about different concerns on membership costs or joining, or are they kind of mirroring the same concerns or wants and needs of what you're looking for?
Yeah. In terms of membership price point, that's something that necessarily is not bendable. We have to fall under a corporate umbrella for brand consistency. And through Southern California, we have a coastal California rate. So there's a handful of us in coastal California. You have the Torrance location, you have Pedro, you have Long Beach now, you have Huntington as well. And I believe that there's one more that might fall under that Costa Mesa. So that handful of locations, we all have the same pricing.
I guess let me ask a question this way. From your San Pedro people versus your Long Beach people, are you getting a lot of people that say, I really, really want to do this, I just can't afford it right now? Are you seeing a greater prevalence of that in Long Beach or in San Pedro?
Gotcha. So that is definitely consumer to consumer. I want to make sure I answer this correctly. I don't want to offend anybody, but in Pedro, I can come across a few objections that seem to be budgetary, right? And we do our best to give all of those clients an economical entry point. We definitely want to negotiate with them and figure out. We just want to seek to understand, right? Especially if they want to be with us. Over in Long Beach, I've had little pushback in that light. I want to believe primarily because we still have founding memberships. Our traditional rate hasn't been set just yet. And the excitement is there, right? It's a new studio. Right. A lot of the community, they're just willing to kind of shuffle out that first payment, that first commitment and commit to us for a bit. And I want to say the same thing was conversely over in San Pedro, right? But over a period of time, with the full price being set, you deal with those objections. And we've been dealing with some of those over in San Pedro for a little bit, conversely.
And it must be hard for you without that price flexibility because you're tied into so many other locations.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you guys are all feeling the pinch of the economy, $6, $7
Oh yeah.
gas prices, inflation,
Oh yeah.
the whole thing. You guys are all feeling it. But, when you look into certain areas of the cities that you're in, Huntington Beach might have a little higher of an income area than, say, a San Pedro, but you're all still paying the same price,
Right.
and so little flexibility when you don't have it, when flexibility is needed, but you're not able to do it, that just creates
Right.
another challenge, amongst business
Yeah,
owners.
yeah, absolutely. It can squeeze, right? I'm trying to be as PC as I possibly can be, right? But we understand the socioeconomics of different cities, city to city. So with that being said, it can be a bottleneck at a certain point, right? We do our best to align the model with fitness minded individuals. The average median in which a HOTWORX has to open has to be in a certain range, right?
Uh-huh.
So with all that being said, I like to think that each location through coastal California kind of deals with the same ups, the same downs. People want value to make the dollar make sense. That's all I can really lean on, because when I get financial objections, respectfully, right, we understand. We just want to make sure the person wants to be here, because if the person wants to be here, we could break down their budget, right? We could figure out a way to make it make sense for them as long as it fits into their financial portrait. But there does become a bottleneck, and there is a squeeze that I've noticed due to the economy at this point. And it's even affected us when it comes to, large scale orders, wholesale orders, right? They increased the rates for our HOTWORX mats and towels. They increased some of the rates for some of the bands that we purchased through the franchisees. And we've noticed that we've had to increase prices essentially year over year right now, which is, it can be challenging, but our client base seems to still be in a buyer's mindset for sure.
I want to go back to something that you said, because I think this is the point of the podcast.
Okay.
You said the value $2 just needs to make sense, or
Right.
something along the value to make dollars make sense. I've done a lot of these recordings of the Small Business Resiliency Series, and I've heard that probably over each single one. Is right now people are willing to spend money, but they're paying very close attention.
Right.
They're making sure that what they're spending, they're not getting ripped off. They're not overspending, that they're getting that value. And that can come in many different forms. Sometimes it's
Right.
a quality product. Other times it's a service. Sometimes it's just a friendly smile, or
Right.
whatever it is. But
Right.
that point is, I think, what needs to be driven home. So how do you guys deliver value to dollars making sense when you're establishing this?
I mean, that's a great question, Stuart. I think it begins with the nature of the price point. When you look at the boutique fitness space, we're definitely economically priced with our higher tiered membership being at $119 monthly. Let's just start at the core foundation of it. What is the consumer paying, right? You go over to Club Studios, great brand, amazing brand. I never tear down another fitness location to build us up. That's $250 monthly. If you want to pay that for that service, by all means, go do it, right? It makes total sense. We fit within a budgetary range. That's one. Two, it's tough to find infrared therapy at any location, let alone priced at what we're priced at with the availability that we have. And then on top of everything, we give people privacy. We give them accessibility. We give them community. That value in itself makes sense to pay $20 a week to pay for the basic membership. What is that? $25, $30 a week that you could put away for the elite membership on a budgetary scale, right? So the fact that we're providing vanity goals as well as health and wellness goals is everything, because simply by being in an infrared environment, and health is everything. Without our health, we have nothing. So if we're just core looking at values, our core values, right? That's hair, skin, and nail health. I don't know what man or woman doesn't want that. It's great for cellulite reduction, accelerated fat loss, flexibility, mobility, tissue tensile strength. Essentially, infrared is releasing adenosine triphosphate and phosphocreatine, which is our muscles' core functions for energy. We can't get that unless we're inside of out in the sun. We don't want to be out in the sun like that. No. I don't want to get burnt. I'm sure you don't want to get burnt.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we actually assume those benefits from the sun? Okay, let's jump inside of an infrared sauna. Yeah. You can go buy one from Costco for maybe $2-3 grand, but can you work out inside of it? Is that investment worth it? Are you just going to sit there? Okay, you'll probably burn 60% of the calories that we're allocating you right now.
Yeah. We've been talking with Joseph Michael Gray. He's the manager of the new HOTWORX in Long Beach, and also opened up and manages the one in San Pedro. You're wearing double duty hats.
Oh yeah,
You know?
absolutely, absolutely.
As we get to wrap up here, it's interesting to hear your startup stories and your build stories and all that. Also, how your pricing strategy works, what you think about when you went into a location, how you're pricing your things. If there's somebody out there right now kind of going like, man, I want to start my own business, or I would love to start a gym, or I would love to do this, or I'd love to know more. Well, first off, what kind of advice would you give to somebody like that? That's kind of going like, man, he's living my life. He's living my dream.
Oh God. Well, if they were to ask, I'd say do your homework, do your research, make sure the demographic fits your product, make sure your product has value, make sure the value inside of your product is you can repeat that value over and over through the employees that you hire. Make sure you hire smiling faces, great personalities. But above all, do your homework. Make sure that the community that you want to build your business in is something that's long-standing outside of 5, 10, 15 years. And just be yourself.
You've talked about value and honesty and sincerity. People read through that, right?
Right.
If
Absolutely.
you're being salesy.
Yeah. They can see immediately through that. I've been in the fitness sales industry for 11 years, and it's one thing to sell a product. It's another thing to connect to a person. And as long as you're connecting to the community, the price, that's nothing, honestly, in my humble opinion, because you can make that make sense for somebody. As long as you're connecting with them, they give you the opportunity to continue to build the value. But all in all, you want to build a business, do your homework, and just remain true to you, remain true to the community.
And if people wanted to get in touch with you, whether it's because it's like, hey, this is the first I'm hearing about this. This is right up my alley. I want to join. Or I want to, Joseph, tell me more about this founding member thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Or if they just wanted to reach out to you with questions or anything, what's the best way for people to be able to reach you?
So the best way to reach me should be through the Instagram. That would be at HOTWORX Long Beach Spring Street. And as well, you can also, honestly, you can call, text me at any time. I have a work cell. It stays on. I do my best to accommodate all of our members as best as I possibly can. I don't know if I should drop my phone number right now. I don't know how I should do that, but
just go on to Instagram.
Go on to the Instagram. You can definitely reach me at HOTWORX Long Beach Spring Street, and we'll definitely coordinate and connect then.
Joseph, it's been great having you on the show and just hearing about, all the things that you did. I can't wait to get out there to be able to officially cut that ribbon when you have your grand opening. That's going to be a big old party.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, Stuart. Hopefully, this was somewhat informative. I know there's a lot of other people that got a lot more skin in the game than me, but when it comes to this fitness industry, I like to think that I got a couple of tidbits. So if any listeners have any questions about what HOTWORX can do for your fitness goals in terms of alignment with your lifestyle, I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
Dude, that's that value. That's that connection. That's that connection to community right there.
I do my best, Stuart. I appreciate you so much, man.
You got it, man. Thanks for joining us today. This is the final episode of the Small Business Resiliency Series. So next week, we start our regular episode with more members happening here in Long Beach. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment on this video or on the podcast, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, Joseph, for being with us today.
Of course, Stuart. I love it. Make sure y'all subscribe, man. Continue supporting the community.
All righty. We'll catch you later. We'll see you.
All righty. Bye-bye.